On this episode, we start a brand new renovation project here in Newton, Massachusetts. It's a 1930s single-family colonial that we're working on a full renovation on with McKee design. So the family recently purchased this home with the intent to renovate the entire place. The big thing that we're focusing on is the comfortability. We're bringing in an engineer to do a full study on the entire home to make sure that after this renovation, this home can be lived in for a long time. On this project, we're working with McKee design. We're going to be removing the left side addition that was built in the 70s that just doesn't fit the overall style and adding a bigger addition with a nicer two-car garage, adding living space in the basement, and then renovating the first, second, and third floor of this home. One of the more complicated parts of this renovation is the foundation. So as you can see behind me, we have some new foundation walls, but one thing you guys have asked a lot about is our underpinning. What we're looking at here is our 1s and our 2s, and the reason I say that is this was poured first, this was poured second. So working with our engineer, we needed to develop a way for us to basically bring the elevation of bottom of footing down 2.5 feet so we could have this adjacent slab lower than the existing slab. So if you can think of it this way, we're basically taking this foundation wall and making it taller and go further into the ground, allowing us to have this adjacent slab. Now, our process is relatively simple but labor intensive, is that we're actually undermining in about 2-foot sections underneath the foundation wall. We're removing that soil, spacing them out, so temporarily the foundation wall is only supported by 2 to 3 foot sections of soil every other one. We undermine that, we form this, this is called an underpin, so we place concrete underneath that, and then we strip this and let this cure for 7 days to get to a strength that can then support this wall by itself. So once these are cured, we come back and then we undermine the seconds, or the number 2s, and then we do the same exact process. And at the end, you can see it's not pretty, but this will get cleaned up and actually furred out and buried into a wall. But we have now extended this foundation wall deeper into the ground, allowing us to not only support this side of the home, but have a lower elevation slab on the left side of me here. A couple other details I want to show you guys over here. So these are our foundation walls. And down here, this is actually, it's yellow right now, and you can actually see it. It's a little bit rubbery. It starts out as black. This is a Tremco product, and what this is our capillary break. We sourced this from Green Building Advisory. They had recommended this product, so this gets all rolled and painted on after we get all our rebar in place prior to setting our formwork. And what a capillary break does is basically prevents groundwater from coming up through the footing and making its way into the wall. This capillary break prevents that, so moisture can only come up as far as this point, and this works in conjunction with our exterior waterproofing that we can talk about over here. So I'm on the outside of the foundation wall here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna clean all these footings off, and we're gonna do a spray-on waterproofing from bottom of footing up the wall. And we'll keep that just about 6 inches below final grade. That way we don't have our waterproofing exposed with the landscape. So that's very important that we lay that out with not only the architect and the engineer, but also our landscape architect to make sure that final product is nice looking. From there, we're actually going to be installing an exterior insulation. The architect has spec that we insulate the exterior as well as the interior. And then the final product we're going to be installing is a Delta dimple mat. Now that does a couple things. Number one, it prevents us from damaging the insulation when we're backfilling. Number two, it allows any water and moisture that does make its way down through the wall to trickle down the foundation and then out to our perimeter drain. Now we'll run that dimple mat down and across our footing, allowing all that moisture to be collected into our perimeter drain, which will run out to a catch basin or some sort of recharge pit that the site engineer is designing. So working our way back inside here, where I'm standing now and where all these guys are feverishly working grading, this is actually our garage. So what we've done is this will get poured and saw cut, and we'll actually pitch this portion of the garage about 3 inches from back of garage to the garage wall. Right now the guys are making sure that we have a continuous 4-inch concrete slab thickness, which is spec'd in the drawings. And then from here, next week, we're gonna place the concrete, but our first step is gonna be installing a stego mat, which I believe is a 20 mil vapor barrier, which will all get taped, and we'll run that up the wall So when we come back and we spray foam any of the walls or insulate any of the walls, we're able to lock that vapor barrier in, and we'll run that throughout the entire slab here. Right here is actually an existing garage. What we had to the left of me, you can see this pier. This was actually a brick column, and upon completion of demolition, we actually found that that brick column wasn't really supported on a very substantial footing, so we needed to correct that. Had the engineer come out, we did a site visit, and what we're dealing with, if you look above here, is a steel lintel that supports, it's an actual brick structural wall. This isn't a facade, it's a double wide brick structural wall, so there's no stud cavities. So that is a tremendous amount of weight on this steel lintel, and then being transferred to this brick column, or existing brick column. We worked with the engineer, we decided that we were gonna replace it, and we built a temporary wall in the opening of the existing garage door, allowing us to remove that brick pier, and then we placed this, rebar filled concrete pier that now supports the lintel on the left side. Now, what you're seeing now in place is rebar and a footing. So what we've done is we've removed the slab back, we've excavated this, we've installed a new footing, and this will actually get placed with concrete from this concrete pier to the outside corner. Now, originally that was a question we had asked the engineer. What was the reasoning for it? Was it necessary? Could we put a wood wall here? And what we're doing by placing this wall is we're actually locking this corner and creating an L shape. Even though it was an existing garage door, with the addition and everything else, it makes sense to lock this in structurally. So we're gonna have horizontal rebar that gets epoxied both ways, and we'll place this up just about an inch below our steel lintel. The reason we keep it an inch below is allows the concrete to shrink, and then we go back and we actually grout fill with a non-shrink grout that last inch between top of concrete and bottom of steel lintel. Thus, all of that weight of that structural brick wall will be carried into this new concrete wall. And then behind me right here is our new man door. So from our garage, this is our new man door to the basement. The last piece you're gonna see is above us is our steel. So Ryan from RMS Ironworks, they made quick work of this. I thought I was actually gonna catch them this morning, but this is the first step of our framing. So this will actually support our new deck for our first floor addition, as well as the header above the double bay garage. So this is all ready to rock and roll. Framers are on site. Stay tuned for our next episode as we get rock and roll with the exterior framing, but as well as the interior framing. That interior framing, after demo, of course, we're finding things that we weren't expecting. We're gonna show you guys how to deal with that.